Well, I am a firm believer in that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. But at the same time, it is time to take and function on Calico Northwestern for a while. Even though the other guys are the ones in negative, Calico's the one making a profit at the current time. He's not making a huge profit, but he did make 110,000 last year, so he does deserve his moment in the sun, even though he can just ride on his laurels. But he's not going to just ride on his laurels. Calico has realized there's competition, and they invaded his town, and he's got to figure out what he can do to take his towns back. So Calico Northwestern Road and Rail does have some issues, and those issues are all coming from voltage plateau carbons, where we need to add yet another set of lines. Because one, this guy comes from Calico as well. So we're going to give him two more train lines. And one of these isn't going to be a very big one, because he's just going to be going back and forth. As we can see, we have an issue already with how Calico's setup is going to be. So we need to do a bit of landscape work. So we're going to lower that down, clear him out, and make him into what he needs to be to get a bridge across at this spot. And he is committed towards electric. So that's going to mean having some issues. And we're going to build him a way around all of those issues. He's got the most money, so he can afford these two fast, rapid expansions he's about to deal with. There we go. A little bit of fixes here having to be done. There we go. And it'll extend out here. Go ahead and put in the rail yard and the other rail yard. We need to electrify the lines because he is committed to electric. And that will also give us what we need for electrifying this for the little guy. And we're going to let him have his big long run. And that big long runner is going to be one whale of a runner. Cash-wise, I have a feeling. So, we're not going to be using the slow one this time. We're not going to use those 17s. I think this guy right here is more than enough. Put a bunch of coal cars behind him. Don't really care about my speed because this is coal. Coal doesn't have a speed factor to speak of. And again, we need to have That's the CNRR. And then here we can just go with the little guy because he's not going to need more than the 3. We're still going to be able to give him 1, 2, 3. That's all we can give him. So that is kind of tight. Down the road, we may dislocate this line off to this side to give it more space. But initially, we're just going for, let's get him up and running. And this guy needs to have his stations put in. Do him to 100%, give him to a line. Voltaic Headwaters. And with those 2 trains, Calico will now pass. Even though he can technically expand his bus service, he's making money on cargo. Those are all great cargo makes. Matter of fact, if we take a look at how much this guy is going to make us, let's see what he makes. $3,900, $3,390. And we've got to take and wait for some clearances. So we need to take and start doing some clearance points here for each of those trains. Vehicle earnings was $39.90, so yeah, $4,000. $4,000 a trip on that guy. He's gonna make some money. This little guy over here probably making about as little as the other guy. We gave him the second engine because he's got that climb. And hopefully this lets him unload everything. Yes, good. Uh-oh, didn't show me how much he made. What did you make? 588. And the Voltaic Plateau is looking really good. That's where we screwed up. We really screwed up. No route. Yeah. He should have a route now. Yep, there he goes. The route was stuck. We sometimes have to take and tell him to go back to depot to fix that. He's a little bit slow. We could probably add another car and add some cars to him as well. And that's going to be his pass point. Calico will now pass to Eastern. And Eastern definitely needs our help because they're still running 65,000 in the hole. We're at April and they're already 35. Yeah, it's time to go over to Eastern's turf and see what we can do to help out Eastern. Eastern really needs something a lot better than that coal line. Electrify the line on that segment. And now let's see if we can add a second collier. Running one of those with and we'll see if this changes his finances in any way, shape, or form. Got to do a little bit of signaling here. Instead of a true dot, we got our passing sidings where they can, coping sidings, whatever you want to call them, that allow each of them to take and keep flowing, and we will see how long it takes before we jam up. Doing pretty good. See if this changes anything on our monthlies. It is taking and cleaning things up a lot. Unfortunately, it being electric lines is going to make it a higher cost than our steam lines were on steam. And Eastern may abandon the electrical rules. Eastern may indeed abandon electrical rules on the basis that they can't afford to wait. That would let us save up to $2 a month per line segment. And of course, we'd have cheaper operating steam engines down in the $5 per, which would increase our profits. Because the individual profits for these guys are pretty slim. For a similar run to what you're doing over there with 4K, he's only getting 1750. So, and that's op prof for just that vehicle. Not counting line maintenance, not counting any of the other stuff. And he's only getting about 2 passes, so 5 grand, 5 grand. He might actually get to the point where he breaks somewhat even for the month on this section. There are times when I wish I could see. Well, let's go ahead and see the line. And I wish it would take into effect the amount of line traffic that it covers. Again, profit is what we're worried about. For the line as a whole, we're losing money. Part of that's the initial dispatch costs. Part of that's other items. Two convoys not running at a high max speed, not running at a lot of things that we should be. But still, we're doing better than what we were. Let's give it a speed run here to the end of the month. See if it's going to be a better or a worse situation. If it stays the same, which is what it's looking like, then it may, yeah, it's actually going to be worse. So we do need to consider the end of the electrical on these guys. And to do that, we would have to do the fun way. And that means the minute this is done, we're going to close him out and switch to Steam. Go to Depot. We're going to switch him out to Steam and then eventually remove the electrical lines. Ride him on in. We'll switch him to Steam and then do a speed run of a month to see before we go to DDI and see how Donjon Deliveries Intermodals does. Because Donjon has the advantage of Steam, and I think that's another issue is we need to speed up the line. Matter of fact, I know that's an issue. We did not speed up the line. So Donjon's going to be a fairly easy fix, though it'll be a costly one. And we're just going to switch to this guy right there. Whoops. Not going to worry about the fact that it's slower steam. We will see how that helps financials by cranking him up. We're in the monthlies, so now we can take a peek at it, and we can also take a peek at our line issue. about a break even. A little bit of a profit there. Speeding up a little bit more. There we go. I think we can get this to turn around and start turning as a profit long term. Because he's doing up to 1,000 over, and some of that was the electric run that he did before. So let's see how much of this. This is with two electrics. We're going to see where this winds up and then decide whether we're going to take and get rid of that other electric. An $8 profit for the month. Still, a profit is a profit. And that's, we were losing 3 grand over here. 2 grand, That was half of our losses were right in this zone here. So let's go ahead and go to our vehicle list. Tell this guy that the minute he's loaded, unloads, he's going to the depot. Once he's in the depot, come to the depot, take the electric off, load that guy in front. Now we're going to see where this line is going to go to. Not as worried overall. We're now going to look overall profit. And hopefully we'll start to see a cash flow profit, in which case then we de-electrify the lines into the on the line first, and then slowly but surely, because we have to pay to de-electrify. And we've got an issue that I've begun to realize we need to do a platform choose here. Let them both go into the other platforms. And now we're going to run into an issue where we need to take and start moving some power over to boost the production at the mine. So before we do that, remove way objects. And this is where it's going to get fun. We're going to take out the way objects, which is the power lines. And by taking out the power lines, I hope we can save enough money long term to turn around our finances. We're still at 93 in the hole. Oops, not what I wanted to do. Thank you. Yes, I know there's stuff in the. Sold both of those and sell you. Okay, now that should give us a little bit of a breather. Unfortunately, at 102,000, this ain't looking good. But what's it do to our monthlies? It has pulled up our monthlies. Okay, so that is working towards reducing that debt. Where we were at back in April when we looked 10,000, we're now down to around 66. So we've cut a quarter of the debt. little over a quarter of the debt. We're looking really good. So, cutting a quarter of the debt each month will give us a little more breathing room. We're still in that horrid zone here for this guy. So we got to see what's he got that we haven't been operating against. Well, here's the issue. Too big of a jam up. Okay, let's go ahead and fix this part of the zone. He's going to need another pass lane. Coming right into here. And I think this pass lane, once it starts operating right, yeah, we're going to need to fix this. I think the steel runner, yeah, the steel runner had the waypoint. This guy is not on the steel runner line. So where does he go to? What is he thinking? All right. Remove, insert that. I need you to go to this. Also need you to free up. Well, while we're waiting for that to free up so that that'll fix that temporarily, and then we can adjust him to be on the steel runner line down the road. We need to come over here and we need to take and run power. We're at the 30-minute mark again. I got another long video. I apologize. Hey, I'm Kelly Jack. Have a better day than I'm having. And for those keeping track on this wonderful series of episodes, this has been episode, that's the Fix-Its. Well, this should have been episode 36. Maybe. Yep, current tutorial. Sorry, I'm trying to work in the dark here. I'm trying to save some power today. Not working, so we're going to turn on the lights. 37. Episode 37. That last episode was 36. Have a better day than I'm having.